Yay. All right. Welcome everyone to our Zoom. We have a special guest tonight. Her name is Michelle Kellogg. She is a two-time elite coach. Oops, I apologize for that. A premier coach. She's a mom. I have the fun stuff that I wanted to say. Sorry, Michelle, the fun stuff. But I'm like, I need to get the technical stuff in here. Two-time elite, one-time premier, lifetime 5-star in 2 business centers, which is really cool. Diamond in 3rd, hubby is diamond, all-star legend, all that fun stuff. So I met Michelle when we were at leadership, and we kind of kept ending up working out by each other. And then we ended up doing this fun team building activity together as well, which I was convinced we were gonna win. And then we didn't get this sweet bike, and I was a little heartbroken. But it was fun to get to meet Michelle, and I asked her to be on one of our Zooms. And then I got to ask a little bit more about her. So she's a mom, and she is a former school psychologist, was able to retire from that. She was able to help her husband, who is a commercial pilot, retire as well. And it sounds like this has all happened relatively freshly. She lived in Alaska with her family, and then they've been able to move back home to Louisiana, where she currently now lives, and it was to be closer to family. And so, as we're probably going to hear, Beachbody has been a big help in that. So when I asked Michelle to speak, she said she had a presentation on tips for helping pearls in this business. And I was like, oh, I don't think I've taken that personality test. What's a pearl? And so some of you might have seen in the group, there was a fun personality test that kind of summed it up and put it into animals. So we've used color code a lot with red, blue, white, and yellow. And with the animals, I would watch it. It's a quick 6-minute video. A yellow would be a peacock, a red would be a rhino, a white would be an owl, and a blue would be a golden retriever. And so her topic tonight is 6 tips for helping golden retrievers rock the business. So even if you're not a golden retriever, I bet you're going to have a golden retriever on your team. And I'm really excited to hear what she's got to share. So thanks for being here, Michelle. Feel free. Could you just start with sharing a little bit about kind of like National Wake Up Call style, like tell us how this happened, and then we'll go into your topic.
How did this happen? Well, I was like she said, I was a school psychologist, pretty stressed out. Sarah really wanted to know how I ended up in Alaska. So I'm from Louisiana, and I've always loved the mountains. And so I chose the best school district in the mountain states. So I looked for jobs in Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, and I ended up in Alaska, in a small town. It was heaven for school psych, small. Like I interviewed the school districts, but ended up in a large school district in order to actually see my husband more. So I knew before I took the job that I wasn't going to be happy. Caseload wise, it was unrealistic, and I knew I wouldn't last forever. So as a school psychologist, just too high of a caseload. I was staying up to 3 a.m. working on reports, coming home in tears 2 or 3 nights, a week. And I chose school psychology over health psychology originally because I wanted to be family oriented. I wanted to be home for the summers, and we didn't even have kids. I would have been an awful mom, honestly, because I was so stressed out. And my body, I was also a marathon runner, a jogger I started in junior high my entire life. And my body had shut down as well from just being a cardio junkie. I was very imbalanced. I didn't do any strength training. I didn't do any yoga. I had all of the Beachbody programs, and I only did the cardio workouts of them. I didn't even know there was a schedule. There was like a weight day or something. So my body also had shut down, a lot of physical pain, couldn't sleep at night, shooting, sciatica, nerve pain and stuff. And pretty much I was forced into yoga. I was getting into yoga thinking, I had stopped working out for an entire year trying to heal my body because I couldn't jog anymore after 18 years. And got into yoga thinking, I'm going to be able to learn how to handle my job better. Like, de-stressed, right? And then I fell in love with it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to open a yoga studio. Thankfully, my yoga teacher was a Beachbody coach and introduced me to the coaching opportunity. And I already had a lot of their programs. Like I said, I had all of them. I just never followed them the way they were designed. And I actually had my principal and my teachers doing Turbo Jam with me after school already. So when she presented the coaching opportunity to me, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I was like, why not? I'm already doing it. And so I jumped in, not with 2 feet. It was just kind of I'm already doing it. Why not? And as a pearl, as a golden retriever, what color was that for you guys? I need to make a note of it.
Blue.
You're going to have to help me throughout until I get it all in the right spots. Blue. I should have done this before.
Fine. It's fun to learn a different name. I like golden retriever.
Yeah. So as a blue, that's typical. We just get into business because we want to help people. So I got in that business just because I wanted to help people, see how it went. And it didn't take me long to realize that I enjoyed this, that I really was helping people. And then I could actually get paid. I was seeing the paychecks. And it was Christmas break when we were off for a week as a school, 2 weeks for the school system. And I was able to be on Facebook more and post more. And I saw my business take off even more. And it was I signed up in August. In December, I decided to quit my job in May because, let me clarify, and for the income disclaimer, first, the income disclaimer, Team Beachbody, nor do I, nor does Sarah guarantee any level of success or income with this Team Beachbody opportunity. It's a direct reflection of your own effort, skill, and diligence. And that is what I love about this business, is what you put in is what you get out. And that's what I saw. I saw the possibility, like what I put in, if I had the time to put in what I put in during those 2 weeks I was off, that it wouldn't be a pay cut for long. So I do not recommend quitting your job until you have your full-time salary matched. But I actually did, I took a pay cut because it was a quality of life over quantity, if that makes sense. And I had the vision and I knew the vision. And I think sometimes for a pearl, for a blue, when we're all about just helping people and sometimes our why isn't deep enough. Like for me, and I'm also very spiritual, but for me, I feel like God set me up that way. Like that year I came home in tears more times than any other years in the past. And that's what drove me to work the business. I don't know, as a blue, my personality style, if I would have worked it as hard, if I would have put in the effort, if I wasn't as miserable as I was job-wise. Because do y'all remember, I've been a coach for 7 years now. Y'all remember Wayne Wyatt, our top coach 2 years in a row? He's a full-time dentist and 6 kids. You don't have to hate your job to do this. So that's not the message I want to send. But for me and my personality, I'm very thankful that I had those difficult days. So when you face those difficult days, make it remind you of your why and why you want to do this and your end goal, and to help create that vision for you. So jump ahead. Yes. Quit after a year. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, this is awesome. It's so fun to learn all that. And I love that you just want to help people. You saw the potential and you saw the better quality of life this is willing to bring. I mean, this is all great stuff. So yeah.
So after 2.5 years, I'd say retired my husband, but again, it was more of a quality of life over a money quantity, if that makes sense. He was a commercial pilot. We moved from Alaska to Louisiana because of this opportunity. I would never work in the schools here. That sounds awful, but I wouldn't. I have to feel like I'm doing best practices, and I have to have a manageable caseload. So I wouldn't work in the schools here. So it allowed me to move here, not exactly to the state of Louisiana. My husband, they opened a hub here, but he was flying nights and he was miserable. And he was coming home exhausted. He's a morning person. He wasn't sleeping. He lasted, I think, less than a year at that job. And I was like, just quit. So after 2.5 years of doing this, we brought him home as well. And we could afford to do that. It wasn't, yes, it was a pay cut, but it wasn't a pay cut for long. Again, quality of life over that quantity, if that makes sense. And then that allowed us to move, because you can live anywhere as a Beachbody coach. So that allowed us to move blocks away from my family. I now have a 3-year-old. I got pregnant during that stint. I couldn't imagine having a kid without my mama. So very blessed, very thankful, very grateful that we're able to live here. And my husband couldn't get a job here either. So this opportunity it's not a part of it. It is the reason that we're able to live here and do what we do. So that's all about me, but I'm an open book. If you guys have any questions at all, you can ask me anything, because I share about, like I said, TMI sometimes. So you can ask me anything.
I love TMI. Seriously. And if people don't react, then I feel awkward. That's the only time. I'm like, really? Michelle, we love you already. So fun that this was able to do that for you, and you had no idea. Like I know all. I could say the same. Like I would have no idea. And it was like I got into this because I really kind of liked helping people, and I needed the help myself. So obviously, that's Michelle's story. You guys, she's an amazing leader in this business. To be a two-time elite coach, a premier coach as well, 5-star in 2 business centers, like that's big leadership stuff. So she's going to share some great tips right now. If you don't have a pen and paper out, I would definitely get it because it's going to help you, or it's going to help you be a better coach, a better sponsor. So thanks, Michelle. Okay, go ahead with your tips.
So I want to know, before I get started, just raise your hand because I can see all of you. How many of you are the blue? And maybe I should go through, you know what? I'll go through the different personalities first. How many of you don't know? Raise your hand. You don't know what color you are, what I'm even talking about. Okay, that's all good. How many of you are considered a new coach? Could consider yourself a new coach. And it doesn't matter if you've been in for a year, but just starting coaching, okay? And how many of you feel like you got a groove, you kind of good, you've been in for a while and you know the system and you kind of know the process? None of you? Come on, Sarah. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. I just kind of wanted to know the audience, like what I'm, who I'm talking to, if I'm newer coaches or some veteran coaches. Sarah, do you want to?
I went to click on mute and I clicked on a different screen. Sorry, disappeared. We have a mix, but we have a lot of people on here have amazing leadership. So definitely on the road to more experience for sure.
Okay. So the content I'm going to share is really, I want you to take back to your new coaches and your new people you're bringing on, and I'll briefly, hopefully you watch Sarah's video, go through the different, I like the term, I'm going to be all confusing because I'm going to use the colors, the gems, and the animals, because here's the deal. I love the gems when presenting because we all are gems. Every personality style is a gem. There are strengths. I can't stand when I'm talking to one of them and like, it doesn't matter which gem, and they're talking about their weaknesses and like something's wrong with them. I'm like, no, we all got, we all need refining, right? We all have things that we can work on, but we're all gems. God creates masterpieces. He creates gems, okay? He doesn't create animals or colors, right? He creates gems. So know that you are a gem. So that's why I like the gems. The animals, to me, are the easiest to remember and relate to. You can think of the animal and you remember the personality traits, right? And then you guys use the colors. So I'm going to go through sapphire, peacock. Sarah's going to have to help me with the color.
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay. Just briefly, very briefly, because this is not a personality presentation, but they're the ones that are motivated. Just think of a peacock, right? They're kind of flashy. They're fun, right? They're the life of the party. They're motivated by fun. You can even meet these people, like tell just by the handshake. They're the ones that are, they're moving all around. They're kind of like your ADHD ones. They can motivate a freaking tree. They can motivate anybody. So they have some great strengths too. Some of the strengths in this business would be they can talk. They don't have any fears. They can get up and talk to anybody. My husband's a sapphire. He embarrasses me constantly. He's shouting out answers and like raising his hands. Like that's a sapphire, right? Cons would be obviously that they lack the planning, the follow-up, the discipline. But you need all of these personality styles to make a successful team and successful business. Rubies are your rhinos, or your color, Sarah? Red?
Yes.
You're saying red, right?
Yeah, red.
Okay. That makes sense too. Think of the color red. That really fits them. They are motivated by being the best. They want to be the best. They're motivated by challenges. They dress and name brand stuff. They have the best of the best, right? And they don't need much help in this business. Like they're going to take off. They're going to take initiative. And I typically do these calls. Sarah is a pearl, is a blue, and she has a team of blue. That's like me. I'm like that too. But I typically do these calls for ruby leaders for their pearls, because rubies, that's our complete opposite. And it is difficult for rubies when they have a team of really all the rest of the colors, when they don't have people taking action and self-motivated and disciplined. Because a ruby, they just do it. They get in it, they have their goals, and they do it, right? Mm-hmm. Their con is sometimes maybe they don't listen or learn from past experiences, like learn from their upline, what's been working, systems, that type of stuff. They can go through trial and error that they don't have to go through and learn the hard way sometimes, if that makes sense. But you see a lot of these are the ones that you're going to see the combination a lot of times in leadership, Rhino and Sapphire, because they don't mind speaking. They want to be the spotlight, and then they want to be the best, and they have that leadership skill. Lots of successful pearls in this business, but you may not see them up on stage all the time, right? Like, because we're very, like, I'm nervous to do this call still, and I've done several of these. So rubies, okay? Next would be our pearls. They're your golden retriever. Oh, sorry, I didn't give you the animal for the ruby. The ruby is a rhino, right? For the pearl, it's a golden retriever or blue. Mm-hmm. And we're the ones who we dress in our yoga clothes and we don't have makeup on. See, like Sarah likes. And you're the ones who just, it's all huggy and feel good, right? We want everybody to feel good, no conflict. We want to help everybody. We're motivated by helping others. We're motivated by a cause, and all the gyms want to help, but for pearls, it's a different level, right? If you have a cause, like, I don't know, anything, whatever is meaningful to you, right? That motivates you more than, like, money's not going to motivate you. Money doesn't motivate a Sapphire either. So there is some overlap in these things. Pearls, our greatest strength, which I will talk about, is relationships. But so Sapphires like people too. We like people. Sapphires can take a room full of people. We like one-on-one. Okay. So some of our cons is that we have a fear of that conflict, right? And fear of rejection. We're very sensitive. We let a lot of things bother us and hurt our feelings too, which we need to work on in this business, which I will be going through and talking about. Then we have emeralds. Your emeralds are your owls. They like order, process. An owl, right? They take everything in. These are your people who, before they sign up, they want to know everything. You hear the story, the phrase, facts tell, stories sell. That's so true. But when it comes to owls, the facts do sell. They need all the facts to make a decision. They're your spreadsheet people. They're your accountants, your CPAs, your engineers, right? So they like that order. They're the ones who are going to organize your team, and they do the spreadsheets, and they can keep track and the follow-ups and all that. So that's the emerald personalities. Does that all make sense with you? Any questions with all that before I keep moving on?
No, that's so fun to hear, and I totally agree. Being a blue myself, I'm like, yes. Working with many reds who have said the same thing, like, yes, like, so this is great. I think a lot of people who come to Beachbody, like, if I had to, I would say blues. Oh, is that what you're going to say next?
No, yep, I forgot. No.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that if you took like a snapshot and looked at like the colors, it'd be maybe a little bit more blue than anything else because of just that wanting to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Beachbody, it is more. That's they've done that study or whatever. It is definitely more blues. Yeah. More pearls that are attracted to this business just naturally because it is a business to help people, right? Mm-hmm. And so we get a lot of blues, and that's why I do a lot of these calls for rubies, because it's that conflict there. So now here's the meat of the call. This is the meat. This is where you want to take notes. And I want you, if you're more of a veteran coach, I want you to take this to your team for new coaches, because these are the 6 tips that really, it's so hard for pearls. Like, anybody's going to be successful if you put these tips into motion, into play, right? But it's these 6 tips that you're really going to need that are the hardest for pearls. Okay. So some of these things, a Sapphire, and I'll go through them. Some of these things a Sapphire has no problems doing. So there'd be different tips probably for a Sapphire. And we can go through some of those at the end if you have questions. You know, if you have a coach that's a Sapphire, okay, what would be the 6 tips for them? It may look a little different, but all of these tips would help anybody grow. So the first one is to always be a bit out of your comfort zone. So
goosebumps. I'm like, oh, I know I need to do that.
And I already see, I'm skipping over my notes. I'm telling you guys, I'm all nervous. So I want to back up I'm going to repeat the strength of a pearl is people like you. People trust you. We are great at building relationships, guys. I don't know about you, Sarah, but for me, I feel like that's where I spend most of my time with my coaches, trying to teach them how to talk to people, how to build a relationship. That is natural for you as a blue. And this is a relationship business relationship building business. And you've got that main skill is your strength. So have some confidence in yourself. Know that you can do this. You are excellent at it, okay? So that's your strength. Your weakness is that fear of rejection, being too sensitive, and kind of needing the thicker skin. So in order to develop that thicker skin, we're going to push you right out of your comfort zone in the very beginning. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. I've been coaching now for 7 years. If you want to keep growing, and it's not even if you don't even want to do this as a business, you need to be stepping out of your comfort zone because it's going to grow you personal development wise, mentally, going to grow you. So let me give you some examples. I always start coaches with where they feel comfortable with. And Sarah, you may have a different philosophy. Like, Sarah's an amazing coach, guys. Trust her. Whatever system she has, whatever she says, go with it. For me, I've been doing this for 7 years, and I'm constantly pushing myself and constantly changing things up. So I start coaches with where they feel comfortable with. You know, do you feel comfortable sending messages or picking up the phone? I was a 5-star elite coach still, and there was a video, I totally was called out. I was still hiding behind Facebook Messenger instead of picking up the phone. And I'm not saying you have to pick up the phone, guys, but you know, we are a relationship business building. What's the easiest, the fastest way to build trust in a relationship? It's face-to-face. Second would be the phone, right? Then private messaging. So there's nothing wrong with messaging and there's nothing wrong with picking up the phone. I'm just saying, I think eventually you need to do both and push yourself out of that comfort zone, right? So I was hiding behind Facebook. I got to be 5-time elite, right? 5-star elite coach, all hiding behind Facebook. So I'm not saying you can't do that, right? You can do it. But then my business, there's lots of points in my business where my business took off. And that was another one when I started picking up the phone and building those skills and that confidence. And my husband's bringing in my daughter to say good night.
Aww, totally acceptable.
Good night.
Good night.
I was scared of this. So where was I, Sarah? Let's see here.
Oh, you're talking about you picked up the phone and that's when your business took off. And I'm thinking, yes. And if you guys, sorry.
No, you're great.
No, I just always could add in stuff and I need not to, but just one thing, like whenever I have someone that I need to speed the relationship up with, say they're doing a short challenge, I'm like, let's get on the phone for 10 minutes and talk about the obstacle that keeps stopping you. And then that person is so much more likely to invest in a bigger challenge and move on. That trust, and they're going to have better results in their challenge if you give them 10 minutes of talking. And you know what? It's like, it fills me up. I get off the phone, I'm like, that was the best. It's like a win-win. So, okay, sorry.
And you know what? Your first phone call may be a disaster. You may ramble and word vomit, and that's how you learn and get better, okay? So yes, picking up the phone, calling friends, asking someone to coach. You know, so many of us, we're great at building the rapport, but we don't take that next step at asking someone to actually coach. So these are all little ways that you're going to continue to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Calling someone instead of Facebook messaging them, actually calling them, right, to coach. Hosting a Super Saturday, hosting a team call for Sarah, right, or even a smaller team, you know, speaking at a Super Saturday, going live on your Facebook page, going live in the team page, going live in your challenge groups, hosting a business webinar. Maybe it's doing a team call for another team. You know, there's a different level of butterflies when I have to get on another team that's a leader that I respect, like Sarah, like, hello. So constantly, or presenting at a Super Saturday, you know, not just hosting one, but maybe in presenting. Like, there's so many ways to constantly push yourself out of your comfort zone. So you want to feel comfortable. I don't want you to go puke, right? But you should be pushing a little bit beyond.
Perfect. Yes.
Number 2 is to go for no. Again, I told you this is more for probably new coaches. I don't know if you recommend this book, Sarah, the Go for No book. It's such an easy read. Like, it's so short and easy, but it's Go for No by Michael, I don't even know how to say his last name, Benton. You guys can see that. So instead of going for your yeses, make a no goal, because you've got to get over the word no and not taking it personally. The time is just not right. You know, I can't tell you how, and Sarah, I know, has had this experience too. I saw people 7 years ago that have continuously told me no and are reaching out to me and coming and getting signed up and getting started. I'll use myself so my yoga teacher, so she was really more of a discount coach. I say this all the time too. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You can have the best presentation to the wrong person, to the person that's not ready, and you're going to get a no. So, and the only way you're going to get better is by inviting, by taking action, right? So I lost my train of thought. So going for no, reaching out, having confidence, not worrying about if you're saying the right thing. That's what I was going to share. My yoga teacher never shared, like she actually drew out the pyramid, like made it look like a pyramid, talked about pyramid scheme. I never even had that thought. All at that time we had DVDs. She had all the third-party DVDs, the third-party tools, never showed me a single one. It was an awful presentation. Like she just constantly was like, I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. It really was. And I still signed up. Why? Because it was the right fit for me. The timing was right. I was praying for something. Like it was, it was my answered prayer. It was meant to be, right? So
I love that. Like that just takes the pressure off. And I think of someone very early on in this business who, I watched my friend present it to her, and everyone left the house and my husband's like, how was it? I'm like, it was a train wreck. I'm like, this girl is never signing up. Like she was talking about all these legs, and I'm like, it sounded so MLM, and the girl signed up, and this girl brought out an amazing coach. Like you just never know. Like you can't sit there in fear and just go mess it up. I love that. Just know that you got to find the right person, not the right words.
Yeah. And you do need to find the right words eventually, but let that be part of the process, like take away that fear. Because as pearls, we have so much fear, and that takes me to step 3. My third tip is to take action. You just have to take action. The only thing that's going to get you over your fear and build your confidence is taking action. You can't get it any other way. I have so many coaches who get stuck in just, you would think they were emeralds, but they're pearls, avoiding taking action, avoiding their fear. So they get stuck in all their training. They know everything. They've taken every possible training there is, but they won't implement. They won't take that action. They won't fail forward. Like, yes, you're going to word vomit over everybody, or yes, you may make a post and I don't know. I teach not to, call out Save Beachbody and say those things, or make, but so what? So what? It's the only way you're going to learn. And that kind of, because again, I usually, in working with rubies, the other thing with this taking action, you got to be teachable. You got to be receptive to your coach. It's probably not that bad with Sarah, but I know even as myself, as I am a pearl, but yet, because a ruby can be very kind of blunt and just like to the point, like, let's go. And I can be like that too. When I see a profile picture that's a picture of Shakeology, right? And you're a new coach, and you go and you tell them to change your profile picture to a picture of you, and you explain why. And pearls, I've had people not even, like at that point, they just stopped talking to me. Like you've got to be teachable. You've got to be, to take that action and then let your coach help you. They're not criticizing you. They're not coming after you. They're not belittling you. There is nobody in this business that wants to see you succeed more than your personally sponsored coach, period. Like they're only helping you. They're telling you this information to help you, to make you better, so you can grow more, so you can attract more people. They're not telling you to like pinpoint everything that's wrong. They're trying to help you not make the same mistakes we made, and to just learn from them. So not taking that stuff personally, recognizing that your coach is coming from a loving place, a place to help you. And I'm going to repeat it again. Nobody in this business wants to see you succeed more than your personally sponsored coach. You can go cross-line. I have no upline, guys. Like I said, I was brought in by a discount coach. Upline, just, they kind of know who I am now, but not really, and guys, nobody's going to give you the time that your personally sponsored coach is, right? They're going to go in and they're going to look at your genealogy. They can look at your genealogy. They want to help you. Let them help you. Don't take it personally. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Take action and then listen to your coach after you take action. And that plan, do, review. You make a plan, you do it, and you review it. There should be things there for you to fix and for you to change up and for you to tweak. Okay? If you keep getting no over and over and over, let your coach see some of your messages. Role play with your coach, if you're doing a phone call or whatever, because a lot of times it's only a minor change. So small, right? Okay. Oh, see, I already covered step 5 and I didn't even know it because I rambled so much. It's trust your coach and the system.
Oh, yay, yes.
Because I already said it. Your coach wants to see you succeed. And that's where I was going. I have written down here, your coach isn't your cheerleader. They're your coach. For us to sit here and say, oh, you're doing great, and not give you feedback to help you grow when they see something that needs to be done or something that could be, like a profile picture. I'll use that as an example that needs to be changed. It's our job to tell you, change your profile to your picture. It's our job to help you, right? But we're not going to just sit here and give you pats on the back all the time. I just have written here, your coach has your best interest at heart. Don't take it personally. They're trying to help you. You got to toughen up. So these, and hopefully this is making sense as a pearl, how this wouldn't be quite as fitting for, a ruby wouldn't need these 6 tips, right? They're already tough.
Right. Yeah. And that's a great tip too for the blues when you're coaching your coaches. That was something I had to learn because I was pat on the back for you. You want a pat on the back? You want a pat on the, and I was like, I have to start actually transitioning from friend time to coach time. So if that is if you're getting on the phone with your coaches, have some kind of productive time in there and not just shooting the shit, even though that's fun. You need to help them. That's your job. That's how I had to start looking at it.
So number 6, this is our last one. It's personal development. Sarah, I don't know who you I pretty much say, I have my favorites, but I have never been to a personal development event or something where I haven't gotten something taken away from it, or invested in some type of training and haven't gotten something out of it. I started with Danny Johnson, but my favorites are Eric Worre, Tony Robbins, especially Tony Robbins for overcoming the fear, Eric Worre is really good for our industry. But Tony Robbins, I feel, is more good for getting over our own crap, if that makes sense. And I have a few. Where's the book? The War of Art. Have you heard of this one?
No.
This is The War of Art by Stephen. You can take a screenshot.
Okay.
I could send it afterwards. And this isn't a book you'd sit down and read. You can see, look, it's just short little, it's a bathroom book, if that makes sense. Well, this one's kind of long. I opened up to a longer one, but most of them were shorter little snippets. But it's about overcoming resistance. And I'm just going to go through, since we have time. How many is it? It's 8 or 10 here. I have to turn the page. 11. I'm going to go through these quickly. The following is a list in no particular order of those activities that most commonly elicit resistance. Okay. And I want somebody, Sarah can do it. I want you to tally how many of these are Beachbody or exactly what we do, and how many out of these 10 or 11 elicit resistance. So you're going to get no's. You're going to get kind of defensive responses, if that makes sense. The pursuit of any calling in writing, painting, music, film, dance, or any creative art, however marginal or unconventional. The launching of any entrepreneurial venture or enterprise for profit or otherwise, that's us. Any diet or health regimen, that's us. Any program of spiritual advancement. I think personal development, that could be us.
Yeah, working on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, some people.
Yep. Any activity whose aim is tighter abdominals. That's all. For real.
Throw it in the list there. Okay. We're all listening. Perfect.
Any course or program designed to overcome an unwholesome habit or addiction.
Yep.
Education of every kind.
Yep.
Any act of political, moral, or ethical courage, including the decision to change for the better some unworthy pattern of thought or conduct in ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like that was like
Definitely.
like a value of Beachbody.
The undertaking of any enterprise or endeavor whose aim is to help others. That's us. Any act that entails commitment of the heart, the decision to get married, to have a child, to weather a rocky patch in a relationship.
Yeah.
The taking of any principled stand in the face of adversity. So that's the 11. That's the 11 of them that elicit resistance. So again, you're going to get resistance. You're going to get objections. It's a part of it, right? So you have to learn to handle those no's and to handle the rejection. And rejection, I think, as your skill gets better, let your coach help you. They get less, I think. Or maybe they just don't sting anymore because they really don't or because they're going to come around eventually. 7 years later, they're going to come to you.
Exactly. And you really got to look at objection as a call for help from someone. That's really how I look at it, is I need to keep showing up even more because this person only has a chance if they keep seeing me show up. Like, that might seem so egotistical on my part, but that's how I look at it. Like, it's my job to educate them if they give me an objection.
Yep. So the last book that I have under here for personal development is, and this is it's an Audible, so I don't have it on here. And honestly, I have to admit, I haven't listened to this one yet. My husband just completed it. We don't listen to the same books at the same time because of our account. It confuses us. But he went on and on about it. Like, he talked to me about the whole time he was reading it. And it's called Never Split the Difference. Negotiating as if your life depended on it, by Chris Voss. And basically what he did is he went and had to ask for something every day for, I think, 365 days and get a no. Somebody had to tell him no.
Dude, I think this guy was on Quote of the Day.
Seriously?
Did he ask for really ridiculous stuff?
Yes.
Yes. It was such a good one. Okay, I didn't realize it was a book.
Uh-huh. So it's all about, though, like, he had to become okay with the rejection, right? Like, getting yourself. So again, I haven't read this one, but I just thought it fit perfect. Like, it's on my list of the next ones to read. He just finished it. So.
It's funny, but good.
Yeah. So that, so I just opened up the chat, give the quick bullets. So number 1 was always be a bit out of your comfort zone. Always be a bit out of your comfort zone. 2, go for no. Make a list of 100 no's. Go for no. Number 3, take action. Action kills fear. It builds your confidence. Number 4, I skipped number 4. Deepen your why.
You got it figured out. Yeah.
So number 4, deepen your why. And we all get started. It seems like the blues. I just want to help people. That's exactly how I started. And it's still kind of what I say. Like, it's still honestly the root of like my why. It is, I do want to help people, but it's got to get deeper than that. And now I'm going blank on how to get deeper than that. But I used to trying to think. And I kind of shared about that in my story. Like, I thank God for the trials that came up. But it's kind of, I use Tony Robbins things here. It's twofold. So and we're all different in what we relate to. But one, I want you to picture, 10 years from now, where you want to be. I wanted you to picture your most vibrant, like your goals, your best self, your most vibrant, healthiest, most confident self, what you want to be doing, that magical, life that you want. Picture it in as much detail as you possibly can. Visualize it, feel it, see what you're doing, see where you're going on vacation. You're holding your husband's hands. Picture it, feel it, if that makes sense. What life do you want for your kids? What family legacy do you want to leave, right? So that's the first half, and picturing that as detailed as possible as you can. The second half is going to the worst case scenario. If you don't make a change, what's going to happen, right? What's the worst case scenario? It's going to your rock bottom. I think for me, like I wasn't at my rock bottom, but I sure knew where my rock bottom was and where I was going. And those days when I'd come home in tears and staying up at 3 a.m. working on reports, like I had a reason. It was pushing me, right? So knowing your rock bottom, where you don't want to be. And like I said, where are you going to be if you don't make a change? Like if I would have stayed as a school psychologist, my body continues to run down. I'm 40 years old with a 3-year-old. Why? Because I couldn't have even had a kid. I would have been an awful mother for real. And I'm so thankful in that, like, we're both able to stay home full time with her. Like, it's just awesome. Right. But like, I know where I would have been if I stayed in that situation. So what's your worst case scenario? What's the worst? What's your rock bottom? And some people it's the negative side that motivates them. Some people it's the positive side. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, but you need to get that in front of you every day as well. And talk with your coach to help brainstorm, to get that why out of you. And if you don't have a deep why, like, and you don't want to do this full time, or you don't want to do, that big goal, it's okay. Like, it's what you want out of it. Just make sure you're matching up your goals with what you're actually doing. So many people, I think, want these big goals, but then they don't put in any time and they don't have a deep why. They need to adjust their goals, or you need to adjust your why and your goals up here. They just need to match.
Mm-hmm.
Making sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll start over again. 1, always be a bit out of your comfort zone. 2, go for no. 3, take action. 4, deepen your why. 5, trust your coach and the systems in place. Number 6 is personal development.
Yay. I love it. Great things. Always good to hear, especially from someone new. Things just click differently. If you have any questions, drop them below quick, because we have Michelle for a couple more minutes. Michelle, can we ask questions, or do you want to say something else?
I said okay. Whatever y'all want. Okay.
I was like, did I just cut her off? I don't know. I hope not. No. You talked about always being out of your comfort zone. And I'm curious, what have you done most recently to be out of your comfort zone? Because that is something, as you're in this longer, like, what do you do next?
It gets harder and harder. So I made a commitment to present the business opportunity every day.
I've been seeing it.
And I hate it. I'm like, I need to revamp the presentation. Like,
it looks great.
I love it and hate it, if that makes sense. So that was one thing that I'm currently doing is I made a commitment at 365 days to present the business opportunity in some form or manner every day. So I've been going live and doing that. For me, speaking at Super Saturdays, like, I still hate, like, I was invited to speak at a bigger Super Saturday, so I'm doing that. Awesome. Yeah, but it still makes me, like, guys, at Pearl, like my hands are all sweaty and I'm like, like, even just introducing my name at an event, like standing up and having to say your name makes me, like, my heart start pumping and stuff. So, like, so know that, like, these were all baby steps of what I'm, the fact that a lot of things that I do now, I'm like, never in my wildest dreams, like, it was baby steps. I feel like so my biggest wins out of my comfort zone right now is I'm going to businesses local. I've been coaching now for 7 years, been home for about 5 years now, 6 years, I can't count. And like, I need to get out of the house. I need to be around people. So I'm approaching businesses to maybe start doing some wellness programs. So that's been out of my comfort zone. And even this one doesn't make much sense. It's more personal, but even like going to Rotary clubs, joining different clubs here. I'm from here and I have just some family relations. He's like runs the Rotary club. That's very much out of my comfort zone because of the family dynamic. I don't know if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing it. Like, so what about you, Sarah? I'm curious.
Oh, geez.
It's different for everybody. Like, what makes one person want to puke, the other one's like, oh, I got that. That's no problem. And vice versa.
Definitely talking about coaching more on my like page. Just being more, I feel like, I don't know, it's always the whole environment changes, and I'm almost feeling like I need to just be talking about this more blatantly versus just putting posts out that are building relationships. So that feels a little weird for me, and that makes me nervous because I've never done it before. And Instagram, which I've never done before. Snapchat has been the newest, but I do love Snapchat. So there's a mix of like loves and hates in there and things like that. And I made a new sneak peek that's similar to yours, but I haven't gone live. So I find that like I always pops up that you're doing it live on your Facebook page. So are you just like on your computer and you have it set up for your computer to go live so you can just share the screen right there?
So I do it through, well, first off, I will say I get better views and participation when so that's the other thing. You don't have to make things complicated. When I just go live from my phone and talk, I get better traction, like more people see it. When I do the slides and the formal like presentation, which just keeps me on track and like I make sure I cover everything, I use the Zoom. I have the Zoom feature and I paid for that webinar feature. So you can share your screen through Zoom and go live on Facebook or YouTube. Did that make sense? Did that answer?
You're going live, like you have to be on your computer to go live, and then you can share your screen with the Zoom.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's less visibility when you share from your computer and there's even less when you do a third-party tool like Zoom.
Gotcha.
Access it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that you do that live, and you're always so full of energy. Okay.
Any questions? Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Yeah, I hope you got some good tips. If anyone has a question, feel free to unmute or comment below. It was fun to get to have a guest on.
Well, thank you. I have to end and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Like Sarah made me feel, so I'm the pearl, I'm the shy one, right? And she made me feel so comfortable and loved and special at her. I couldn't remember, I'm awful at names. And she still loved me anyway after like I met her like 6 times and I'm still like, what was your name?
I'm like, we are going to be bonded after this.
Yeah,
but you know what? It's another funny thing, Michelle. Like I went into leadership. Like you guys go, like if you've ever been to Summit, maybe you felt it where it's just a little, it's like, it's intimidating for me.
Yes. For me.
Going into leadership, I'm always like in my head, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be around the best of the best. You know, you can question, am I worthy of being here? Like, you know, you can really get in your head in comparison, at least me. Like that's something I'm very susceptible to. And so I was like, I'm going to introduce myself to anyone who comes close to me. And that was something that I was doing out of my comfort zone. And Michelle was close to me a lot. So I was like, hey,
and I was very thankful because she kept saying hi to me. And I was like, oh, it made me feel so loved. And like, I needed that too, because I felt the same way Sarah does. Like I get in those big rooms and just feel intimidated. And it's hard, like I'm shy. Like it's hard for me to say hi to people and stuff. So Sarah was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you.
Funny, we ended up on a team with Amy Silverman, who's like queen of the peacocks. So it was like top coach, but it was fun.
Ruby.
Is she a Ruby?
Sapphire and Ruby. Most of your leaders really are Sapphire and Ruby that you see. Yeah. Like Amy is a Sapphire and Ruby personality.
She's an orange, red and yellow. I would love to be an orange because I love orange, but yeah, that's fun. Okay, now thanks, Sarah. You know, you've been around me enough to know that I really talk about orange a lot. Michelle, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you missing bedtime. And tell your husband thank you too, and your daughter thank you for letting us have you for tonight. This was really helpful and really fun to get to hear from another leader.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. You have an amazing leader. Trust the system. Trust her. She has your best interest at heart. So I'll sign off since you guys don't have much. I don't know if you have team recognition you were going to do and stuff.
We are good. I'll post the recording soon. So ladies, thank you so much for being on. I hope that you got something great out of that. And then I'll share the recording, and so you can share it with your teammates and stuff too. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye, Michelle.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.